Hi everyone, my name is Dawn and I am finally back for a new YouTube video. So trust me, I did not just abandon you. I did have to go visit my family back in Canada for about a month, came back to Peru, had some things to do. Long story short, I am back and I will be making more regular videos for you. And today we are going to focus all about how to create a perfect 20-minute daily routine to practice English. So let's get to it. All right, so the reason why I say 20 minutes as a daily goal is because it's not too much time, but it's also just short enough that you can fit it somewhere in your day-to-day. Because always, consistency is key. Consistency is actually literally the key to anything you want to do in this life, whether those are fitness goals, educational goals, financial goals, whatever it is. If you are consistent with your habits, you will be successful. And of course, that is the same thing for English. So that is why I say make at least 20 minutes every day consistently, and boom, you are going to be so successful with your English practice much quicker than you imagine to be. All right, so I am going to give you kind of like a simple breakdown of how you can break apart your 20 minutes every day. However, it's going to be different for each one of you depending on what your strengths and weaknesses are. And strengths and weaknesses being in terms of the 4 categories of English. So listening, speaking, writing, and grammar. So you really want to make sure that you understand where you fall under those 4 categories. If you're not sure, I definitely would encourage you after this video, go take a look, do some online quizzes and figure out, okay, am I better at grammar? Am I better at vocabulary? Am I good at listening? Am I not? Those kinds of things to figure out where you are at, because it's going to be different for each person. So one of the first things you can do is focus 5 minutes on your listening. So listening is so important in English because not all English speakers have the same accent. Even if you go to Canada, where I am from, you are going to see a bunch of multinational people. So that means you're going to be talking with people from India, people from China, people from all over Europe. You have literally so many different accents, but they're speaking in English. And so because of that diversity, you really need to train your ear to make sure that it is flexible enough to be able to understand all types of accents. And so what you can do for this is just take 5 minutes of your daily practice to listen to a YouTube video or even listen to some kind of exercise from an actual English lesson. Because what's going to happen is you're going to start listening to different accents from around the world and you're going to be like, oh, that is how they say that word. It's always best if you have a transcript, if you have some kind of like written formula of what they are saying, a transcript, so you can follow along line by line, because maybe you don't realize with their accent that they are saying something a little bit different than you do. So that is a really good thing to do. Just 5 minutes, pick a video, it could be a YouTube video, just turn on the captions, the closed captions, and then you can just follow along and just be like, oh, okay, I know what they're saying. But definitely get in the habit of training your ear. That's a big focus point for I think almost all of my students anyways. All right, the next thing I would recommend you do is take 5 minutes of your 20 minutes to focus only on speaking. And so speaking is so important. It's really the practice that you do for speaking is really going to build your confidence when you are in the real world, when you are traveling abroad, when you are speaking to native English speakers. Having that dedicated practice is going to boost your confidence so much. Trust me on this. And so what can you do for speaking exercises? Well, these are just a few ideas. Of course, you can just just talk to yourself. Talk to yourself in the mirror. I talk to myself all the time. And so talk about, oh, what are you going to do today? Oh, well, first I am going to do my hair and makeup, and then I have a meeting downtown, then I have a coffee date, blah, blah, blah. So talk to yourself. Talk to yourself about what you're planning to do that day. Or if you're a little shy, then another thing you can do is find some online resources that have prompts for you. So prompts can be like, oh, talk about your favorite trip in your life. And so then you'll be like, oh, my favorite trip was when I was 3 years old and I was with my family and blah, blah, blah. And so then you're kind of like just talking because that is what the prompt is asking you to do. Now, if you're totally stuck on this, if this just feels really weird and uncomfortable for you, then I would definitely recommend checking out this website. So this website is called speakandimprove.com, and I will link it down in the description. And basically, this is just a really amazing tool where you can just go into the website. It will ask you for some prompts. So it will tell you, okay, talk about what you did yesterday. And so then you are able to speak into the phone and talk about what you did yesterday. Whatever the prompt is, you just talk. And then what's going to happen is that it will basically write it out for you and tell you what you did well and what you need to improve on. So definitely check out that free resource. Again, that is speakandimprove.com. Or if you just don't have internet, you want something even easier, then if you're able to find any kind of note app, I think the iPhones do this, but if you're able to find a notes app where you can just speak and it will write everything for you, then that is perfect practice. So just 5 minutes of just speaking however you can, whether that's through an app, whether that's through the mirror with yourself, or just on a note and then letting it transcribe for you. And a really key thing is if you're able to find some kind of application that will literally write down what you are saying, then you can look back and be like, oh, I didn't realize that I made that grammar mistake. Oh, I didn't realize that it had no idea what I was saying. So it's kind of like a really good time to look back and reflect on what you did well on and what you can improve on. All right, so the next part of your 20 minutes in a day would be to spend 7 minutes on vocabulary. Vocabulary or grammar, whichever one you think you need to most improve on, but however, they usually go hand in hand, and so that's why they're in one category. So grammar could be a simple thing as doing some free online quizzes, just going through them one by one, just checking up on your things. If you are an intermediate speaker, then you can easily just type in intermediate grammar exercises free on Google, and you're going to find a bunch of different exercises that will help you just make sure that you are on top of your grammar. So that is one thing you can do. Or you can use this time to maybe learn new vocabulary words that are also part of grammar. So for example, phrasal verbs. Do you already know all the phrasal verbs? If not, you can definitely find free exercises for them online. And if you're kind of in a pickle and you are like, okay, I don't know, like, I think I know these words, but they're a little fuzzy, don't try to force yourself to go too quickly with these things. If in one day you're like, I can only focus on like 2 or 3 new words, then just do that. Just focus on 2 or 3 new words. Or maybe in that time, those 7 minutes, you are like, I really just want to make sure I remember my present perfect, like grammar. Okay. Do some quizzes just for dedicated to that part. So understand like where you need the most help in, and then use that time really wisely and focus only on that one area. All right, and so then we have 3 more minutes. And so what I would recommend in those 3 minutes is to go back. See what you need to improve on. Focus on what you're like, okay, I did awesome at this thing today, but I really need to practice this tomorrow. So take those 3 minutes to be like, okay, this is what's working, this is what's working, this is what's not working. I'm terrible at this. And then have those notes for the next day. And then you'll be able to do the whole thing all over again the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day. All right, again, consistency is key, people. Consistency. So again, this is just 20 minutes every single day. Make sure you do it. you will find in about 3 weeks time, your English is going to improve so drastically. And if you need a little bit more of a boost, definitely check out my mini course on how to speak English confidently and fearlessly. And you can take a look at that in the link down below in the description box. But basically, it's an amazing mini course where you're able to actually be like, okay, these are my exercises. I have over 15 plus exercises in there. And so if that's something that interests you, or if you wanted to find a cute little English gift for somebody this holiday season, then definitely check it out, again, in the link in the description. And so that is all for me today, and I will see you very soon. As promised, I will have more videos up to you. And so that is all. Have a good one.